Hey everybody, my name is Casey Adams, and this is my slideshow about the Apache Log4j vulnerability. So one of the more notable and recent attacks is a Chinese hack in March of 2022. Hackers linked to the Chinese government penetrated networks belonging to government agencies of at least 6 different U.S. states in an attempt to spy on the United States. So the Chinese government puts a very high priority on knowing a lot of things about people. Their own people, for example, individual people, they know they're tracked constantly. They know everything about them, what they buy, where they go, where they work, everything. And they don't just do that with individuals, they do that with groups of people, with companies, everything within their nation. But the thing with that is they don't just stop there. They do it over here in the United States and many other nations around the world. So information to them is top priority, and unfortunately, they use a lot to exploit things. So what is Log4j? It's a vulnerability in an Apache server. The actual name for it is Log4 shell or Log4j2, but it is a library for logging error messages in applications. So how they exploit it is an attacker will input a string, but that particular string is meant to trick the app into requesting and executing malicious code. After that malicious code is executed, then the attacker has remote control. So a few things that make that very, very, very dangerous is because a lot of times when they first get into the system, the computer or the system that they have control over now, they don't necessarily do anything right away. And they could be potentially looking to get into a different specific network that doesn't connect to a lot of different networks. But there's a secondary network that does connect to that first network sometimes. If they can exploit that outer network, wait and bide their time, and get into the original network, their mission would be accomplished. The other thing with Log4j is it's a certain version of the application, so they won't be able to exploit every single version of it, but a lot of it they can, and it's a well-known, well-used version, which is, again, another aspect which makes it such a huge problem. Another one of the last major problems with it, is the fact that all the different services that have been attached and have been affiliated with the Log4j library. An Apache web server comes in contact with tons of different stuff on the web. So some of the biggest ones are Amazon Web Services, Google, Cloudflare, and VMware, Microsoft, and many more. That's just the short list that I have for right now. So what it caused, Belgium's defense ministry is using, Belgium's defense ministry was hacked using the Log4j bug. A different Chinese group actually got into a system here in the United States, a cyber firm called CrowdStrike, and then another ransomware gang used it to take over Vietnamese cryptocurrency and demand $5 million in payment. So not all, not every single time that an attacker has been successful and utilized this vulnerability have they gained something out of it. But when it comes to an attacker utilizing a vulnerability like this, all they need is one lucky break to either get into the right system and get private, or if it's a company, proprietary data to steal it and then sell it, or if it's a government system, to know who people are, what they're doing, if they're spying for the US or they're spying against the US. There's so many different things that they could run into and utilize. And that's the big problem with it. The other thing is they don't think they could have possibly gotten it all. There's probably still vulnerabilities out there that we don't know about. I know the vulnerabilities in the patches that Apache first pushed out were in December of 2021. That most recent hack was that we were talking about at the beginning was from March 2022. So they put out 4 different patches that said it's fixed, and we just had one the other month. So only time will tell. In the meantime, since government agencies were affected by this, we're not going to know necessarily all the information. It's not going to all be made public. If this is a software failure, not so much a hardware failure. What I would have done differently and what I would have recommended them to do is implement more redundancy in this. They should have had more people look at it. They should have done more testing. They just clearly needed more people looking at and using it and testing for things like this than they did, because it definitely caused a very, very big problem. And yeah, so I think that's about it. So thanks.